Now we need to create some water, and we'll use similar approach than the episode before, and we'll use the displace modifier, but the geometry will be a little bit different since we need to have a waterfall here. So let's get started with the water on the top here, and let's shift and right click here to place the cursor, and we'll create a plane there as a base for our first water object. So let's press Shift A, mesh, and add a plane. And right now we can go to the edit mode, switch to the top view by pressing 7 on the numpad, and hold Z to go to the wireframe mode here on the left. And we'll adjust the edges so they match the riverbed. So let's select these two vertices here, drag a selection around them, and press G for grab. Now let's turn off the proportional editing first. So let's press O, and now G and Y, and let's drag this all the way here. And we don't need to go all the way here to the edge. We can leave a little bit of space. So that's something I like to do with the water to make the distinction even more visible between the ground and the water. And right now we can drag a selection around these vertices here and drag them down. So let's press G, Y, and grab here. And here we can go over the edge a little bit more, like this, because there will be a waterfall there. So you can see here is the edge, and we want to go 1, maybe 2 squares, but don't need to be precise, it's just an approximation. Now let's rotate this and go to the solid view. And first of all, I want to make a first slice. So let's press Ctrl R, and let's do it here and drag it all the way here to the edge where the water will be breaking into waterfall. So yeah, let's divide this. Okay, click to confirm. Now we can select all with A, rotate this a little bit, and we can extrude the water up. So let's extrude this up to make the water surface. And let's switch to the face select by pressing 3 and select this bottom face right here that we created by creating that slice, and we want to extrude this down. So let's press E and extrude it down, and we can go all the way. Okay, and that'll be later our waterfall. And now we'll need to give this more geometry for displace modifier to work, and we're just gonna be doing some slices, so bear with me please on this one. And yeah, let's first slice this whole object on the y-axis, and there will be a bunch of slices we need to make, and basically it depends on how detailed you want the water to be. So let's press Ctrl R and increase the number of slices with mouse wheel. So you have something like this, and if I count correctly, we have now 12 slices. So let's make another one to have one precisely in the middle. So it's basically 13 slices. Let's confirm, press escape. And now we need some squares too. So yeah, we'll just approximate, and maybe the best thing to approach this will be to switch to the top view by pressing 7. Let's press Ctrl R and make some slices here with the mouse wheel. And we want to approximate this so these new faces appear like squares. So yeah, maybe something like this. Yeah, this will be 5 squares. So let's confirm. and press escape. We don't want to move those. And right now we'll do the same thing here. So let's press 1 to look from the front, press Ctrl R and slice this up to create approximately even squares like this. Okay, and now we want to create a vertex group for the displace modifier, same as we did before. So yeah, let's go to the vertex select, press 1, look from the side, that's a 3 on the numpad, and go to the wireframe view, hold Z, go to the left, and now drag the selection around these vertices here at the top, and hold shift and drag selection around these in the front. Now if we switch to the face select by pressing 3, we now have a surface of the water selected, so we can rotate this and go into the object data tab right here, this green triangle, and here in the vertex group list, as you know, you just press plus, name the selection, so let's give it a name surface and click assign. And this is really important, don't forget to click assign, because there will be no faces in the vertex group if you don't click that. Now one last thing with the faces, I want to triangulate them. So yeah, let's go to the solid view so we can see better what we are doing, and we'll triangulate, and you already know there's a shortcut for that, so just press Ctrl T and our vertex group, or rather faces in our vertex group, are triangulated. And right now we are ready to apply the modifier. So tab out and just go to the modifiers tab here, click add modifier, and let's select displace right here. And here we'll select the surface group that we just created, so go into the vertex group menu and select surface. And right now we need a new texture for that, so let's create new, let's call that surface. Here's the button that can take you to the texture edit, but just so you know, down here there is a texture tab for the currently selected object, and if you click that, that's the same place that the button would take you. So yeah, you can go there like this, and right here where it says image or movie, you just click there and select clouds. And right now we want to modify a size a little bit, so yeah, let's go to maybe 0.2, so it's really detailed. And right now we can go back to the modifier, so click on the tab here and we can play with the strength to create a nice surface. And something very subtle, maybe even less than 0.1, let's try 0.05. So I really want this to look like a calm surface of the water stream that goes over the solid water bed. So yeah, I think this will be enough. And right now we need to create a second water object that flows right down here through the tunnel. Now let's reset the cursor, so Shift C, as you know, that'll reset the cursor and focus the whole scene. And we'll need to add another plane to create more water. Let's press Shift A and click plane. Now we can go to the top view, so press 7 on the numpad, go to the wireframe again as before and tab into the edit mode, and let's go into the vertex select, drag selection around those. You already know the drill, so yeah, let's press G, Y and drag this up. And again, we don't need to go all the way to the edge, and the same down here. Select these two, press G, Y, and grab it here. And yeah, this will be enough, I think. Let's go to the perspective view with the middle mouse button and switch to the solid view. So Z and go to the right. And right now, while we are still in the edit mode, let's select all and drag this all the way down. So G and Z, and drag this under. And let's check that. So let's press 1 on the numpad and go to the wireframe mode again. And yeah, here we can see we are under the riverbed, but here I think maybe it wasn't far enough, so let's grab a selection around here and I will select the one in the back also, because we are in the wireframe mode. So let's just press G, then X, and move it a little bit here. And now press A to select all and E to extrude, and this will be our surface. So I think somewhere here will be enough. And if we now rotate our view, we need to make some adjustments before we subdivide the surface. Here we took a different approach because that's a different kind of object where we have this waterfall, and it was a different approach to the whole geometry solving. Right here we can use the subdivision of the top plane only, but since this is not a square but it's a really long rectangle, if we would subdivide this, and sorry, I already see that we didn't drag this far enough, sorry, that's my mistake. So let's just press G, Y, and move it here. Okay, and since the top plane here, and let me select these top vertices so you can see it. This top plane is rectangular, so if you subdivide it, let me show you, you create similar long rectangles, and there will be a lot of them, and they wouldn't look great as a water surface. So basically what we want to achieve is first to have really square faces here so we can subdivide. So let's go back, and right now I'm going to add a little bit more geometry, but I'm willing to pay the polycount price for this. So let's press Ctrl R and we'll make 3 cuts that will create, let me confirm, that will create almost the squares on the top. So now if we go to the face select and to the solid and click here and hold Ctrl and click here, we now have a perfect surface with rectangles that we can subdivide. So if we go right click to the context menu and click subdivide, you can see we are creating square faces. So that was one subdivision. So let me do 1, 2, 3 other. So we have something similar going on like here. And now we can triangulate. So press Ctrl T. And the one last thing, as you know, is to assign the vertex group, and it's completely the same process as before. So go here to the vertex group, click the plus, rename it to surface, and click assign. Okay, and right now we can go to the modifiers, click add modifier, displace, and in the vertex group we can select surface. But not only that, we don't need to create a new texture here, because we already created one texture that we used here, and we can use the same texture. So here there is a little arrow icon, near the texture selection. So let's click that, and you can choose the surface that we used on the other object. And if you click that, you can already see it's applied. You just need to adjust the strength of the modifier. So let's go with something, I don't know, maybe more like 0.05, because here the waterfall is falling, so this would be maybe a little bit more distorted. So yeah, let's go with 0.1. That looks nice. Okay, and now the final thing, let's just rename these objects to water. So click this and double click, rename to water, and now this one, double click here and rename to water. The number will appear, and let's deselect this, and we are ready to move to the next chapter. And one other thing, we need to move these water objects out of the palms collection just to the outline view to make some sense. So yeah, click this, hold shift and click the other one, and you can use the M key, or you can just hold this and drag it to the main collection, no problem.